Breaking news, another top Democrat has been arrested in Chicago. This seems to be part of a much wider trend going on. Luis Arroyo, a Chicago Democrat, has been arrested on federal bribery charges. There have been a lot of Democrat politicians being arrested, particularly in the Chicago area, many with close ties to Michael Madigan, a top Democrat who is very closely tied to Obama. One of the many controversies with Madigan I've mentioned here involves giving Barack Obama $100 million of taxpayer money for the construction of his presidential library. They took this $100 million from taxpayers to give to Obama without going through proper posting requirements. There's been another big update just in the last day with these arrests and FBI raids, many of them connected to Madigan. Turns out that the Chicago suburbs that were raided by the FBI do have ties to Madigan's son. And breaking news now that yet another Chicago Democrat is being arrested. State Rep Luis Arroyo being charged in an ongoing corruption scheme. Charges unveiled this morning in federal courtroom. Arroyo, a Chicago Democrat, is the assistant majority leader in Springfield. This article also notes that this Illinois state lawmaker's arrest marks the latest top state Democrat being targeted by federal prosecutors. Luis Arroyo appeared in U.S. District Court in Chicago today. Prosecutors say that the 65-year-old Chicago Democrat is accused of offering an illicit payment to an official. They told the judge that the maximum penalty if Arroyo is convicted is 10 years in prison. Further expanding on how all of these other Democrats have also been arrested this year. Throughout 2019, at least half a dozen Democrats have been charged with crimes or had agents raid their offices and homes. It is also interesting that they say here the U.S. Attorney's Office in Chicago, headed by John Lausch, who is an appointee of President Donald Trump, has been spearheading the investigations against the Democrats, some of them acknowledged power brokers in the party. So President Trump has appointed the U.S. attorney who is leading most of these investigations against Democrats in the area. It's also very interesting that this prosecutor that was appointed by President Trump, who is helping round up and arrest all of these Chicago Democrats, was also appointed last year to oversee more than 1 million documents requested by congressional committees. Among the cases that were on Lausch's plate included the investigation of former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton's use of a private email server, the firings of James Comey and Andrew McCabe from the FBI, and the surveillance of former Trump campaign advisor Carter Page. Another breaking article gives more info on the charges against Arroyo. The Chicago Democrat has been charged with allegedly offering $2,500 a month in bribes to support electronic sweepstakes-related legislation to a state senator who wore a wire for the feds and secretly recorded conversations, according to a criminal complaint released Monday. The unnamed state senator whom Arroyo allegedly tried to bribe started cooperating with federal authorities in 2016, but was initially closed as a source on November 3, 2016, after he allegedly submitted false income tax returns. The state senator expects to be charged in relation to his taxes, according to the feds, and is working with them now in hopes of getting a break on any sentence he may receive. The feds secretly also recorded some of Arroyo's conversations over the phone, as well as conversations with the state senator, according to court records. In one secretly recorded conversation, the state senator asks Arroyo what's in it for him if he helps sponsor Arroyo's legislation. Arroyo allegedly responded, quote, "I'm a paid consultant, okay? If you put a price on it, I mean, if you want to get paid, you want somebody else to get a check monthly, a monthly stipend. We could put them on a contract. You tell me what it is. Tell me what you need." Arroyo allegedly planned on making the monthly $2,500 payments to the state senator from 6 months to a year, and was arranging to have the money sent to a woman suggested by the senator to hide the bribes, the feds allege. Arroyo has a lobbying firm he runs with his wife called Spartacus 3, records show. The judge this morning ordered that Arroyo be released on a $10,000 unsecured bond. Arroyo's office released a statement today saying that he, quote, "would politely decline to answer any questions concerning today's events." Suffice it to say that Representative Arroyo entered a plea of not guilty and believes that he will eventually be completely vindicated of the charges against him. Arroyo, this article also notes, is the latest Chicago politician to face public corruption charges. Alderman Ed Burke was charged with racketeering in May. State Senator Thomas Cullerton was charged in August while having a ghost payrolling job with the Teamsters. In recent months, the FBI has raided the home and Springfield offices of State Senator Martin Sandoval, who is also under investigation. Alderman Kerry Austin and a slew of public officials from the southwest suburbs are also facing federal scrutiny. Again, very interesting that many of those politicians listed that are being targeted by feds are very close to Michael Madigan, another top Democrat, establishment Democrat in the state. Other close allies of Madigan, like one of his top aides, Kevin Quinn, and a well-known lobbyist from Chicago, Michael McLean, pictured here, have also been under investigation. And this other new update just from the last day saying that these raids are tied to Madigan's son as well at 4 municipalities that have been targeted as part of this sweeping corruption probe. They all have contracts with these financial organizations where House Speaker Mike Madigan's son works. Federal agents have been investigating the local governments of McCook, Lyons, Schiller Park, and Summit in recent months. Each of those municipalities has contracted with Andrew Madigan's employer, Alliant/Mesero, for various kinds of insurance. A 2012 report pointed out that Madigan's son's employer was raking in suburbs insurance business, detailing instances where local government leaders with important issues in front of the Illinois House of Representatives also did business with Andrew Madigan or Mesero. So that Andrew Madigan joined the company in 2008. He began working in business development insurance in 2010, later becoming a senior vice president. They detail the McCook raid and the ties to Madigan's son in these contracts. McCook attorney Gary Perlman told the Chicago Sun-Times that a search warrant for the village sought information concerning, quote, various contractors that have done work with the village. McCook Mayor Jeff Tobolski, who also serves as a Cook County Commissioner, invited Andrew Madigan in 2011 to submit a proposal for liability coverage for the village. Mesero later became McCook's, quote, exclusive insurance broker. Tobolski told the Tribune that around the same time, Mike Madigan, assured him a bill that would restrict mayors from serving on county boards would likely not be moving in Springfield. Another client of Madigan's son's financial companies that was targeted in these federal raids is the village of Lyons. The village manager, Tom Sheen, is the brother of former Cook County Sheriff Michael Sheen, a longtime Madigan ally whose office served as a hub for what a 2014 Tribune report described as the Speaker's patronage army. Tom Sheen once said of a $30,000 a year pension enhancement he received as part of a sweetheart deal in Springfield, quote, "I deserve every penny of it, and I deserve a lot F more." The sweetener provision was later struck down in court. July 30th subpoena to Schiller Park focused on the village's $5,000 per month lobbying contract with former Chicago Alderman Michael Zalewski. Zalewski served as an alderman for 20 years in the 23rd Ward, which overlaps with Madigan's 22nd House District on Chicago's southwest side. A separate raid on Zalewski's home was part of a probe into, quote, efforts to get work for Zalewski at Commonwealth Edison, as well as interactions between Zalewski and Madigan. Schiller Park has used Alliant and Mesereau for employee health coverage, among other items. And finally, the recent raids at Summit. On the same day as the raids at Lyons and McCook, an FBI spokesperson described the McCook and Lyons raids as authorized law enforcement activity, which the agency distinguished from investigative activity conducted in Summit. Sun-Times reported federal authorities questioned the mayor about red light camera company SafeSpeed, among other topics. Summit also uses Madigan's financial institutions that he works at as an insurance broker. Chicago officials have already been caught taking bribes for these red light camera contracts, and they have taken over $1 billion from drivers in the state since 2008. They also note that all of these federal raids were conducted soon after raids on the home and government offices of State Senator Martin Sandoval, Democrat from Chicago. I covered those raids at the time, and things have really seemed to be escalating since then. Sandoval, they note, played a leading role in the passing of the Democrat governor's massive capital plan this year that was supported in part by doubling the state gas tax. This has been a very controversial decision. Infrastructure bills are notorious hotbeds of political favoritism, and many of Sandoval's political donors are, quote, engineering, planning, construction, and related companies. 3 of these suburbs that have been raided by feds are within Sandoval's Senate district. So let me know what you think about this latest arrest. Yet another Chicago Democrat being charged in a corruption scheme, and the news on these raids and the ties to Madigan and his son, the more recent connections that have been revealed as well. Anything else related? If you could leave a like on this video, that is greatly appreciated, and make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. Thanks everybody that has been sharing the channel and sharing these videos to help get the information out there. Also in the video description are links to my Patreon and PayPal accounts where you can support the channel directly. Patreon.com/realityreader and paypal.me/realityreader. Both links in the video description. I will follow up soon. Thanks everyone.